Greetings and welcome to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com. You're about to see what's inside this box, but something changed after I finished the review and I've had to do the intro all over again because the price, you're not going to believe the price. And the price just went down. Folks, what you're about to see is a really good price on this thing, and it's in what they call a promotion or flash sale or something, and it's at that price, but I got a lower one for you. But here's the gig. You gotta actually wait, I think, until the promo price expires or is done in order to apply the coupon you'll find in the show notes to get this thing for 14 bucks, $13.99. Yeah, so what you see in the video, it's all good stuff, but the price is wrong. As long as you wait it out and pick it up in the little window of time, starting in just a few days through, about a month or so. I'll have the specifics in the show note. You can try with the coupon, but if it doesn't work, just wait till the promo's over and try it again. Here we go. Where's my cheaters? Here they are. 17 bucks, $16.99. For the price of a pair of non-prescription glasses for reading or driving, you can get yourself a health band, the Bakeey T1, thermometer built into it, ECG built into it, blood oxygen in this thing, heart rate, blood pressure, on and on and on, sports, all kinds of things. For maybe even cheaper if I can get you a coupon for it, but no more than 17 bucks out the door. It uses Bluetooth 4.2. It's ties to the Wear Fit 2.0 app, which is a pretty decent app. We'll show you that. It links up with all these different languages for support. IP67 waterproof. This thing isn't waterproof for 500. You got support for all of these things. Twist your wrist to see the time. It's got music control, brightness control in it, G-sensor for your step count. Pretty decent little thing. And we're going to go through and play with it, and I'll be able to show you how you set up, produce your own ECG chart, set it up as a PDF, and you can export this, send it to your doctor, yourself, whatever you want. Really fun. Right, let's dive in. All right, now the review is... That's my toe, actually. Now the review... There's just no shame here. Review is starting. It's called Smart Band. Well, I point there because YouTube puts the time down here in the corner, and if you make note of the time, those of you that get really frustrated because I take forever to open the darn box, I'm opening the box. Make note of the time. Box open. Here we go. Okay, I didn't show you the box. On the back, we got some information about it and a QR code for downloading Wear Fit 2.0 and a manual and a band in a bag. And that, folks, is it. That's all we get for $15, $16, $17. Take it out. Here it is. We'll look at it after we page through the manual. And this is one time. It's going to be important that I put the manual on the screen because some of the stuff is a little tricky to figure out, and you might not want to refer back to the manual. So let's take a moment to go through it together, show you the components of the device, and show you the different steps of the things that you're going to go through in the functions. Temperature is the real confusing one for me, and I can't wait to play with that for you guys and have you comment, if you don't mind, on how the heck it works. Okay, here's a little bit more specifications and the final part, and I think the rest of it is all in Chinese on the backside. Yep. Okay, the band itself has a little cover we take off. There's no charger that came with it because you pop off the end where the metal plate is, and your charging pins are here. You simply plug that in a USB port and it charges it up. Got great battery life. I've run it all night long with the continuous monitoring system on, and I get at least a couple of days of life out of it. The band is rubberized. Well, let's turn it on. Press and hold. Give it a couple of seconds. Vibrates, and it comes up. So when you put it on, it looks like this, basically. I'll be putting it on to do some of the testing. Sleek, nice, plastic screen. Yes, it could be scratched. It's $17. Plastic overall design, heart rate diode here, and the plates, 2 of the plates for the ECG and possibly temperature. We'll go there in a minute. And a front plate that you use for your opposite hand to collect the ECG information. And as you step through it, you go through all of the things it can do. Let's play with that. It times out, of course. You've got temperature, date, battery life, time, and so far your step count. On this watch face, if I press and hold, tap, I got an analog watch face which shows nothing but the time, or another digital one that focuses on heart rate, which unfortunately doesn't update regularly. Otherwise, I'd love to have this face with a live heart rate on it, but it does show you your last heart rate. Bluetooth tethering connection, and your battery and date and stuff are on that face. But I particularly like this one because it's nice and bright and easy to see. So I'll put it there, touch it again, it locks in. You cycle through, you get your step count, calories burned, and distance traveled, just like you saw in the little 1-minute clip. Then you can get into heart rate. Now, a drawback is all of these are showing 0. It doesn't show you your last results. Heart rate, blood pressure, blood oxygen, immune reference, which is interesting, in a percentage. Then your temperature in degrees Celsius, have not been able to change that. And the place where you do your ECG, which collects the data but doesn't show it on the band. It's only $17. But it does send it to the app, and you can print it out like I just showed you. Last night's sleep time, or if you catnapped, it'll show that too. Messages tethered to your phone, up to 3 of them. It will send that to your band, and you can read them. And a sports section, and if I press here, I get into just a few: running and riding and climbing, basketball, football, and then back. And basically the way these things work, press and hold, is it's going to give you your step count from the pedometer, calories and distance traveled, against time, okay? And the other ones that you don't have step count, like cycling and basketball and stuff, it's just going to be calories versus time computation. It's the way most of these work, and we don't want to pause, we want to stop. And press and hold, and we're out of here. And press here to go back. You get the flow of it? Okay. So that's, it's basic, but a lot of fitness bands, that's basically all they do. Function has 6 different things in it. You've got a stopwatch, your find your phone when you're tethered to the phone, music player, remote music now that you can play and pause your music from your watch, brightness control, which if I press and hold can show you, it's pretty good right now, but I can bloom it way up. See how that's almost white there? And then there's the lowest level. It even shows some flicker for the timing between the screen and the camera. So I was running it on 2. It's got a good range. It doesn't get really, really dim or really, really bright, but it is viewable outdoors. The band is called the T1 when you tether it, and you could turn it off from here. That's how you turn it off. It's kind of crazy. You have to go all the way there to turn it off, but you do. It's in the functions, the last thing. And then we loop back up here. You can't go backwards either. You can only go forward through them. So that's the overall functions. Now let me tell you a couple of things that I've discovered with it. Accuracy. I don't know. It's kind of like my glasses, right? The prescription ones, they're finding exactly the center pupil of your eye, and that's where they put the marker on here, and then the whole lens is built around that. So if you look left, right, up, down, everything is perfectly in focus. Well, I kind of think it's like that on here. When you do a heart rate, a blood pressure, all those kind of things, you're getting data. But I wouldn't say it's going to be crystal clear like glasses you get from the grocery store or the drugstore. It's going to be reasonable to give you feedback to work with. And that's it. You wouldn't use a $17 band to determine if you're having a heart attack or your blood pressure has gone sky high or any of that stuff. But you could look at the data, get to know it and how well it works with your calibrated values. Obviously, if you're interested in health, you have some other way of reading your blood pressure and your heart rate. Use those and compare it with this, and if there's a correlation, and this is spot on or always 5 too high or 5 too low, then you just adjust. If it's all over the band, like if it was 111 right now while I'm talking to you guys, that's unreasonable. 70s, that's fair. Right now, I'd say I'm between 65 and 85. This is right. This is good. As long as you keep holding it, it keeps going, but eventually it'll vibrate and time out. And if you just touched it and started it, it'll vibrate. There it did. It just vibrated. That's my last reading. Then it'll turn off and start everything over again. And when you cycle through, you do not see 67. You'll see 0 again. It'll actually start it over. Here's blood pressure. Since we are stuck at home, we may as well take the time to go through. It vibrated a second. I'm taking my finger off of it. Now, blood pressure is different. And again, it's using the green diode on this one. And the heart rate is easy. It's the blood pulsing through your capillaries, right? And it's looking at the change in light that's giving you a signal of some sort with a peak on it and a bottom. And it's measuring the time between those peaks, and it's averaging it out, and that's your heart rate. Blood pressure is done differently. Come on, give me a reading. I haven't felt it vibrate yet. It does take a longer time, and you're supposed to be still and quiet. There we go. 120/71. Reasonable, but Uncle Tix is usually a little high in the blood pressure department, like 130, 135, 111. It just jumped to. That's a big difference. But if you take it with a cuff, a lot of times you'll get 2 or 3 radically different readings too. There, it just vibrated, came back to 120/79. Blood oxygen right here, different thing. I was hoping that it had the red diode in it, because we all know, if you've been watching the channel, that when you use a red diode, it gets better accuracy for blood oxygen. But it will figure out the numbers when you're using a green diode. Now, blood oxygen is always really high, from 93 to 100 usually is a good number if you're in good condition. This also has become something really critical these days with the coronavirus, because shortness of breath is one indicator. And when you have shortness of breath, you have lower blood oxygen. And if it gets too low, you could be in real trouble. You need to be put on oxygen or maybe even a ventilator. So having a reading of blood oxygen is valuable. Having an accurate reading is even more valuable. Is this accurate? I don't know. This is reasonable, 97 to 100. If it dropped down to 80 or 65, there it vibrated, then I'd worry. But it's not. And so I'm getting a blood oxygen reading. Take it, I won't say so much with a grain of salt, but with cautious optimism that it may be something you could use. This I have no clue. I have never seen a watch do an immune reference. I've seen... what have I seen? I've seen heart rate variability. I've seen fatigue. We've seen that on different watches. We've seen a few other things that are kind of related to that, stress. But immune reference, I can't even begin to explain to you what I think this is. I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. You go there. You got a better shot at it in your imagination than I do. But Uncle's little on the... I haven't put my age and height and weight and gender and everything in it, so it doesn't know, I'm a millennial or a double millennial. So it's not computing on that. It is bouncing around and changing. I presume it's using the optical, because I'm not having to touch the plates to make it happen. But it's coming up with a percentage number. On a good day, when I'm feeling great, is it going to be higher or lower or what? I don't know. Vibrated, stopped, 71%. That's my immune reference. It goes back to 0, and I don't see anywhere on the app where the immune reference is referenced. So we'll look at that when we get to the app. Here we go. The temperature. Press and hold. Temperature reference. I can hold it or I can not hold it. Either way, I'm going to get a reading. Now, we did review some other bands, and another one that I had was pretty cool. It had a plate at the top, and you held that plate to your forehead after you touched the button to activate it. There we go, 36.2 degrees centigrade. Can't get it in Fahrenheit. So you guys that can convert should tell you that it's human warmth. It's in the neighborhood, right? Right? When I take this, you got a minute? Good. I got all day. How long is my tape going to last? Let's find out. I'm going to scooch all the way through here. I'm going to come back to temperature. I'm going to press and hold. I'm going to let go while I continue talking to you. Pressing, pressing. Hello. Nothing happens. However, if I touch one plate, it went to the ECG. Let's get back to temperature. If I touch a plate in the back and press and hold, it vibrated. Now, if I take everything off, we find out whether it's taking the temperature of thin air, right? And I've done this before, and I'll tell you it's going to vibrate but not show a temperature. And I've tried it a lot of different ways. There, just vibrated. I've activated it, and I've held the front plate only, and I get 0. There, it just vibrated. I've activated it, and I'm touching one metal plate. That's the only thing I'm touching here. Not 2 of them. Don't know if it's working with some form of ECG, but if only one plate is touched, there, it vibrated. I got a temperature. I have also activated it. There, it vibrated. And I put my finger just over the light and try not to touch the plates to see if it's using the photodiode, and in a moment it vibrates and it gives me a temperature. So, ladies and gentlemen, how the heck is it working? And it's relatively 36 point something to 37, relatively believable. Is it just picking numbers out of thin air? But it's not measuring thin air, but it needs at least one plate touched, but not a complete circuit? Baffling, totally baffling. Well worth $17 just for the curiosity of it all. But wait, there's more. And there's that last one afterwards, the ECG. So for this, I need to have it on, and which is easy to put in the buckle. Lots of little holes. It's a cheap band. It honestly is. It's just kind of a tight silicone band, but it's okay. It holds nicely there. And ECG, press and hold. It vibrates, and it's measuring. Now, I do have to keep my finger here. If I take my finger off, it's going to stop, and it won't get the measurement. And there's only one setting, and it's 60 whole long seconds. So I'm going to come back after I take a little pause, and we'll pick it up again. There, it vibrated. Successful measurement with a check mark, which means it's captured the data, it's holding it in memory, and it's going to send it to the app, which we're going to segue to right now. The tethering app for this watch band is the Wear Fit 2.0. When you first put it in, you need to create an account, get it all set up, and after you've done all that, you need to go in and bind the thing. Oh, it's just jumping too fast on me here. And you'll get this main page here. You've got a home, you got a me, and then you got the center thing. When you press that button, it's going to bring up take an exercise, find your bracelet, or go into a remote photography mode. So this thing can work with a shake your wrist to take a picture type action. A really nice overall robust app. It says I got about 752 steps on it, and we're done with this. So press and hold to get out of it. And back here, sports function, there we go, back to time, 792. So we are connected and everything is matching up. Let's go through all of this stuff and show you the different things, starting with the ECG since we were on that. Here it is. I press this button and I can click to measure, or I can go into history, and in the history it's got the ones that I've done. And I'm pretty sure that's why you need to create an account, because it keeps those things up in the cloud for you. Here we are. The new one just popped in right there. So let's take a look at what happened while I was doing that. Showing you the chart here. and it's ticking across the screen for 1 minute. It's showing the calculated heart rate. It's got the measurement criteria on it, the date and time, and it gives you a synopsis, which is really nice. You have your ECG range, normal scope 100%, faster or lower, too fast or too low. So if you suffer from AFib or any things like that, you might, again, qualified, check it out to see how accurate it is for you. I can't attest to the accuracy, but the philosophy is if you're having AFib kind of stuff going on, you may be able to see a percentage of the time over the 60 seconds that you were in these different ranges. So it's checking the ECG range. Then you got rhythm. The rhythm aspect of it is, what's that word? Arpugly? I think it means roughly. I don't know. Normal rhythm, 100%. But here's your suspected arrhythmia or premature beat and suspected atrial fibrillation is here as a percentage. So if you're seeing this thing going kittywampus, you know that word, right? Or this one's going haywire, then you know you may have something that's going to lead you to take action to check on the condition of your heart. If you don't get this, and it's always normal, that's telling you that it may not be accurate, and you're going to proceed to get some information more detailed and more in-depth about your heart, right? Either way, the toy is just for experimental purposes only. But for $17, what a bunch of fun. Measurement confusion and how to judge your heart information. You can freeze frame and Okay, I'll get it upright and read that at your leisure. And that's just the ECG part. If I hit the PDF, there's the whole darn thing, which is just, I won't say just like, but very similar. Obviously different. Look at just the beginning of the top one. It's not a fake waveform, folks. It's a true waveform. And the thing about these ECG readings is they're using a standardized Texas Instrument chip to create the waveform. So they just drop in a chip, and China is not messing with it as far as I understand, other than Fundu Pro. If you get a watch that tethers to Fundu Pro, they're 100% fake. I've mentioned that before. The charts are all identical, and there is no ECG, even though it pretends that it's taking one. That's the only exception. All the other apps, all the other devices seem to be producing realistic information. And when I checked with my doctor, he was surprised at the level of accuracy on the subtle stuff that shows up in these things as well. Anyway, that's the ECG. You get the full chart. You can export that thing out. And of course, you've got history of all of your different readings captured right on the device as well. So you can take them over time. I think it'll only store one at a time in the band. It may store more than that. I haven't really played with it. Come on. There we go. Okay, we're back. You also can initiate an ECG right here, and it will be live. Let's look at the other features. Last night's sleep time, simple little thing. You wear the band to bed. It's going to show you 3 categories, your deep sleep, light sleep, and awake time. I did get up and hit the bathroom a little before midnight as far as I remember. Okay, so it's got that. And you can go back day by day here and see your previous days. I've tried this for a few days now. There was just a cat nap. There's another day's worth. And it'll do it as little as 1 minute. It looks like the little thin thing there. And how do I get into this? This is poor sleep. You can get into the whole thing and you can see the breakdown. There's 2 minutes, 5 minutes of the zones and the time that happened. I was awake at exactly midnight 16 to midnight 17. So you have great detailed data on your sleep, which a lot of them don't provide for you. Heart rate, simple enough. You get in here, it's showing the times you took it when you took it manually, which I've done by doing a single testing, or it'll do every hour, let you know if you're slightly high or slightly low. While I was asleep, my resting heart rate is typically around 50 to 55, so that looks accurate. Here's yesterday, and so forth. So you got a really nice historical record. You also have the daily chart that you can look at. It's early in the day so far, and a weekly and a monthly. And here's the spread of my readings over this week so far for heart rate. Normal, abnormal, the percentage time. I sure hope this stuff is accurate, because it really would be cool. There's great data stratification on here. If they had this kind of data on the virus, I think they'd have a real easy time of opening up the country. This cuts it every different way. Okay, here's the same thing. Every hour is the blood pressure reading that it's getting. That looks weird, huh? And it's a normal overestimate. Abnormal blood pressure here at midnight, 184/92. So it is discriminating and giving you a textual result as well as the actual measurement result. And again, you've got daily information. There's the low and the high and some data points along the way. And the weekly range and the percentage of time and number of times, normal and abnormal, that were taken. And where you fit on this average blood pressure. Got that going. Heart rate, blood pressure, blood oxygen. This is done a little bit differently in the layout. It's showing you your percentages here, good, low, high, all that kind of stuff. You can do single testing, and you can go into a continuous real-time measurement. I didn't mention this, but for blood oxygen, and I know for heart rate, you can leave this turned on. Now, in the event that you are or have a positive tested coronavirus person at home, in the hospital, wherever, you don't want to get near them, but if you can get this on them and you can go into real-time blood oxygen, it's possible. You take it where you goes after that with your mind, okay? I don't want to imply anything here. But I did mention earlier that blood oxygen levels in the body are important, and if they drop too low, they can be a problem. It takes a while to get the first reading, so it's going to go around. So having the ability to monitor blood oxygen on a regular basis to see if there's something coming up, it could be a good idea. That's all I could say. It could be a good idea. It's something that you know about that gives you some feedback for looking in on the patient or taking more radical steps if necessary. Okay, now it's doing real time and it's bouncing around. You see, taking different numbers. As far as I know, it does not set an alarm, but it's within Bluetooth range. So you could have this outside their bedroom if they're in a bedroom and monitor it in the kitchen or whatever works for you. It's just, it's a capability that this $17 band has with its tethered app that is pretty darn amazing by my estimation. As long as the data is accurate, that's the key thing. And that only can be determined through time. So we can close that. And again, we see that here, real-time measurement in heart rate, and it is. I put it on for like hours, and it just keeps running. And there's even real-time measurement for blood pressure. Really be leery on this one. Blood pressure is often so far off the chart that it's not going to be helpful. But blood oxygen and heart rate really could be. You still with me, everybody? Awesome! I know. Where else you going to go, right? Fatigue. I'm thinking fatigue is the same as that immune response. Let's do a simple test. It's supposedly a percentage on the other test, wasn't it? No, these are, unless that's percentage, these are little individual numbers. I'm just sitting here with the band on. There's nothing lit up on it. There's no indication of what's going on. It's a 30-second test. And Uncle is 23. Good condition. So the lower, the better. 120 would be bad. There's my daily trend in good condition, 25 average. Highest was 50, lowest 12. And on a weekly scale, here's my highs and lows. I have mild fatigue and so forth. So that's another measurement you have access to. Trend analysis is what you can do after you establish a baseline for a week and then see if life is getting more fatigued or less, and how things are changing for you. Now, Wake up, come back, whatever you're doing, come look at the screen for a second. This is where it gets really fun. You got to make sure you're on Wi-Fi, which I am, I hope. These next things are awesome. I'm going to jump here to COVID-19 global pandemic. On an app, we actually have the global pandemic real-time report. And folks, it's real-time. It's tied into Where Fit. It's all of the numbers globally here. The global pandemic trend as we're watching this on Wednesday, April 22nd. That's active cases, total cases, deaths, and recovered. You got it in a chart for China, and other locations are shown. And you've got your daily new cases. You've got them by all the different countries on here. And you got the breakdowns by North America, Europe, and so forth. Since I'm in the United States, here's the USA numbers. 700,000 active cases, total of 826,000. We're almost up to 1 million by the time you watch this. I bet it's over 1 million. 45,000 deaths and total recovered. And then there's more. When you tap on that, you can go then into the charts and stuff that are showing you all of the data and so forth that goes along with that. So lots and lots of information available in just that one tab, the COVID-19. There's the World Health Organization Response Fund. You can go in there, learn about it, make a donation if you want to. Then we have Health Punch and Health Calculator. Those things you need the web for. So do you on this one, I think. Health Punch is interesting. This is where you can kind of create your health diary. Your workouts. If you went to bed early, got up early, eating breakfast, napping, eating fruits and vegetables, drinking more water, smoking, learning, like you're doing right now, you get credit for 3 hours, even though this is only 1 because it's intense information. And if you're not angry, which is really important when we're all hunkered down together. So you can add things to it. You can explore this on your own. Suggest you just go ahead and download the app and get started with these things, because these you can do even without the $17 ban for free. Health Calculator now brings up these little tabs, and you can compute your body mass index, your weight, base metabolism, all these kind of things, your body circumference, body fat rate, protein calculation. These are based on data that you put in, nothing derived from the band. Your height, your weight, your age, your altitude, your, I don't know, just mess around with them and see what they do. But these are calculators that you can use at your disposal. Muscle potential, really fun stuff to mess with. And that is basically the overall home page here. But wait, there's more. See, I pulled down and it's going to synchronize again to the band to make sure it's updated with the latest data, like the ECG report, those kind of things. Although I think they go automatically. There's 2 more buttons I want to show you in here. There's Measure and there's Weekly Report. Measure is simple. I tap here. And now, instead of doing individual measurements, I can do one single measurement and get my heart rate, blood pressure, blood oxygen, and fatigue. Those 4 things in about a 30. You want to see it? Okay, I got time. What the heck? I don't have to hold the plate because it's not using the ECG part. I don't have to see the screen because it's doing it in the background. You could do this with your loved one who's recovering or working the way through the virus or the flu or whatever. Just have this on their arm. You don't need to disturb them. You don't need to, it won't light up and wake them up. Really fun way of being able to remotely monitor well-being and health. It takes a full minute, it looks like, because I'm still rambling about this. And you have an export button up here in the corner that you press that and you're able to send the data or the information out as well. So perhaps your doctor or health practitioner is also wanting you to monitor this and keep them updated. This should allow you to do that. Okay, it's taking longer than I thought it should, but it's calculating a lot of stuff. There, just vibrated on the app and it's filled it all in now. Okay, measurement done. There's the date. 71 heart rate, 122/74, blood oxygen and fatigue level. Hit that. Well, that will get you to a page of all the different things that you have available that you can send information like this out to. Okay, that's a single measurement. And the last thing to show you is the weekly report. We got all of this data all churning around in here. Unfortunately, I've done it for a few days, so I do have a weekly report for you. Boom! Yeah, it's even higher. 57 is my overall weekly health score. The amount of exercise has not been reached. Well, I haven't put any in there. And I could do that, so I can modify it. Pay attention to rest and sleep and so forth. And then here's your breakdown. Step data, totals, average, so forth. Sleep is here. Heart rate summary, blood pressure, all of it, including fatigue, on a weekly summary with a weekly number. Simple as that. Really, really fun. So what are we looking at? Oh, goodness. Let's get the piece of paper back. Where is it? Toss it over there, forgot. It's a T1. T1 from Bakeey over at Banggood. These guys are bringing it to us. Thermometer, temperature, ECG, weekly report. You saw it all. It comes in different colors. It's $17, maybe even cheaper. Really something I honestly would recommend you get to play with. To understand some of this technology, if you haven't gotten into it yet, this ECG business and all of that, then this is a great beginning. It does not have the red diode. It's not going to do sleep apnea or Lorenz scatter plots or any of the thing that the Spoven Blade watch does. But it's only $17. Good starter thing. The app is phenomenal in all of the possibilities that it presents to you. And it's available right now. You got nothing else to do but just kick back and play, right? Okay, thanks for sticking with me. So what you see in the video, it's all good stuff, but the price is wrong. As long as you wait it out and pick it up in the little window of time, starting in just a few days through, about a month or so. I'll have the specifics in the show note. You can try with the coupon, but if it doesn't work, just wait till the promo's over and try it again.